What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, we are ranking all of FUT birthday, at least the remaining players. We're focusing on Team 2. Are we on the same page? And now that we have all of these new FUT items, as we were waiting, I think I'm ready to give you some of the top 5-star skillers in this year's installment. If you want that video, I've seen a few comments, please drop a like on this video. Tells me to push that out ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. Content, promo, thoughts. Where are you ranking players? I'm gonna have controversial opinions as per usual. If you're new to the channel, it is free to subscribe. Right down below, you go over there, you hit the button. Push it. I said push it. I repeat, push it. We have a lot of players to talk about. I'm not going to hold you up. Criteria, all FUT birthday players. This is performance based, and we've got some extra helpers. There's a few players that were released that are technically part of Team 1, but I'd already made that video, and I know you're going to ask, so I felt, why not? Let's include them in here. So we have 21 names, correct? Indeed, we have 21 names. Mandanda, I know, he's free. Simply put, he's just not that good. Body type doesn't work. Goalkeepers, I need 6'3+. If you want that requirement for the competitive standard to give him a chance. I mean, Mandanda could dunk a basketball if the hoop was 9 foot. Otherwise, a finesse shot or something from long distance outside of the box, he's not dealing with it. Coming out for crosses, he's not a fan favorite. Chowdhury, mean afro. I wish when I grew my hair out that I'd have a little more of that free flow. It actually just flops down. It looks like a bad Justin Bieber. And he's a defensive midfielder. And you just have to ask yourself, you should be honest, who is he replacing in your team? That's why I have him at number 20. And Team 2, I think it's safe to say, pretty easy statement, pretty impressive. Better than Team 1. We got some options. And I would also prefer 5-star skills versus the 5-star weak foot. But by no means am I saying that he's not good to go. If anything, I only have a little bit of beef. We're not talking about steak. And it should be cooked medium rare. It's with Mandanda. He's the only one that really, truly underperforms, especially for his rating. Gervinho, a FIFA pastime. Technically, back in his present form now, he's a FIFA legend, or at least it feels that way with the amount of overpowered teams he's been included in over the years. Always been a factor. Honorary sweat festation. And this iteration will be what you expect. I feel that's the best way to describe Gervinho. Gunter, there's some fraud action for your instructors, FIFA instructors. I see 99 sprint speed. I've got a certain mindset, a certain perspective. He just doesn't feel that smooth. His pickup lines are second rate at best, but the man's a closer. He's gonna recover. He's gonna be able to make up for it. You're gonna see him use a center back, a full back, a wing back, and he has those 5-star skill moves. Payet, and I read a tweet that says it best. Someone who uses Payet correctly will make you wish you completed this SBC. I'd like to second that. I share that sentiment. You're going to go up against some Payets that are very impressive, but the overall synopsis, he's not in the meta fit, kind of limited, doesn't have enough pace to really truly be impactful as a winger. Not all of you will love him as a striker. And how many center attacking mid options do you have that are going to be in that role that maybe take precedent over the equal-footed Payet that has the long distance shooting? Sniper. Bai. I'm looking for a center back, Premier League. I'm in the market and I don't want to overpay. And by no means am I saying that his price tag is unreasonable, but this is my concern. Bai resembles Gomez at not only a more expensive price tag, but with more difficult links. And I know, I'm aware he has more total stats, but just stick with me for a moment. If we're talking about pace, nearly identical. That's very important. Shooting, I could care less. Passing, 81 short pass versus 78 short pass, that changes nothing. Both are long passing, suspect. Dribbling, you got a little more on the agility and balance, but it's not drastic. The reactions are almost identical, the ball control the same. Everything's shared in that statistical alignment. Defending, the stats go up, but the only big separation is heading accuracy, which does not impact anything. The place that you can make an argument is in the physical. And now then I have to ask you from a devil's advocate approach, is it worth paying this upcharge or this surcharge for just a physical increase? You tell me. Kondogbia. We have an elephant in the room. Maybe a situation. And I know my countdown, my list, it is still based around ability, but are we not going to discuss or talk about that you have a nationality that's going to cause problems? It definitely deflates some of the hype and some of the value associated with this FUT item, because you don't want a center mid or a defensive mid or even a center back, because Kondogbia would be a fantastic center back coming off the bench, and he's got that 99 strength, which means if you're going to put him together for a starting 11 approach, you either need icons or many La Liga players or an Atletico link up. You got to pull together something for him to fulfill his role. You want to maximize him. But I like what I see. I believe in Kondogbia. I think this is a fair placement. Mangala, old school FIFA vibes, full force, undoubtedly. But the question, would you rather have Varane or Mangala? And if we're just talking about wins, we already have the proof in the pudding. We know which Frenchman is going to deliver at that upper tier. The guy that everyone fears to go up against. He's sitting on a pedestal. It's going to be Varane. If you want to mix it up, no problem. Mangala, statistically, that allocation, it tastes good. Very appetizing. But he's got competition in that league that has identical links for the most part. If any of you have played with Mangala throughout a weekend or really dedicated into division rivals, I'd love to know your thoughts. Bernardeschi. I know, it's a surprise. If you saw the highlights, if you watched the previous videos, you get it. He was a pleasure. He's evasive, silky, responsive. Didn't even notice that he was 6'1". I mean, I churned the butter all over the pitch. I was milking the cows left and right. Put me on the beach, no sunscreen, because I was frying. This man was the sun. We did not let up. But my disclaimer, you will need skill moves if you want to share in this experience. If you are not good with the skills, you will not be able to get the most out of Bernardeschi. Modric, fantastic value buy. Not necessarily in the meta, has everything you're looking for from an allocation, true midfield enthusiast, authentic to the game. But he's not that strong, he's not that large, doesn't have the body type, and he's not that fast. When you got that much depth, you got so many options, it comes into the equation, at least the FUT equation. Emery, another solid option. 90 plus stamina, 90 plus strength with 5-star skills. He does not need a water break. This man could survive in the desert, and he's still running a mile in less than 5 minutes. Sterling, still struggling to back him proper in FIFA. This is a respectable position, but when you look at the price tag and the rating, you might ask, well, shouldn't he be higher? Is he under-delivering? There are better options on the wings. I call a spade or a heart a heart, but I do believe you're having an enjoyable experience with Sterling. Just as unique run will make you happy. Paulinho, do you have a pillow? This is the tooth fairy. This man is slept on. Not included, not talked about, misappropriated. Where is the alliteration in the allocation? The awareness. Just greens everywhere. Organics daily. Grass-fed. Tree climber. The human tractor. Put this Brazilian into your rotation. Tamori. What's not to appreciate? Plus, he's got the 5-star skills. You link him up with Smaldini. That's a dream for some, a nightmare for others. Yes, you are paying a slight premium for the link-up play, for the nationality, for the collaborative effort, for that partnership. But if you got the budget, you're getting what you're paying for. Royce, this is who we requested, who we asked for. The upgrades were made. Stamina, good to go. Both feet, speed, been upgraded. This is dope. I don't use that word lightly. Happy to put Royce into motion. Let him free flow. Give you some of that fluidity. Long shot taken, open up the body, finesse shot, movement, left movement, right? This man's all over the virtual pitch. I only have superlatives. Ket. Some would say splinter. Maybe eradicate. If you don't catch him with the Pokeball, he's going to exterminate. What type of adversary would you like to make Ryan Kent? I can tell you right now, this isn't Clark. If you don't know that reference, you need to watch more movies, or we didn't grow up in the same era, or it went over your head and I'll forgive you. He's a little killer. Stop watching murder documentaries on Netflix. Turn on a Ryan Kent performance via the weekend. Even more so if it's late game. He's showing no mercy. OR! Put some respect on my man's name. Versatility personified. I'm clearly a supporter. I would vote for him. Is there a FIFA office? We've seen previous iterations that didn't necessarily get the backing that was deserved. It was earned. You should be ready for this 90 overall OR. You won't be disappointed. Dhamma Triori. I don't know who he knows at the company, at the developer. He's had some very unique FUT items, from being overpowered early on to having that foot freeze that's still constantly used, myself included. He could play in a multiple faceted role, whether you needed that holding mid, the center back, the fullback, even a winger. Now we got the human bowling ball with massive offensive upgrades. He will lift you, levitate, tossing you around on the virtual pitch. Lightweight, tall. He's lacking nothing at all. Yes, that was a poor pun. You probably saw it coming, but he's brilliant. My type of player. Complete utility. Call him the engineer. He's the best player on the pitch in usually 3 to 4 positions. You need a striker, a winger, an attacking mid, a center mid, a holding mid, a fullback, a center back. Basically, he can play anywhere but a goalkeeper, and he will be top tier, god tier, upper echelon. There's a reason this man's been extinct for multiple days. You can't buy him off the marketplace. That is not a coincidence. Proven, has the prereqs. FIFA success story. Youssef gets busy, stays busy. He can cook, and he will cook for you. Or at least you're gonna be present as he runs circles around you. I rate him, I back him. Frankly, I'm a little frightened to go up against him, but I salute it all, and he deserves to be this high in my opinion. The heavy debate. I've got Renato Sanchez at number 2, which might be a massive surprise to many of you watching. This was perhaps the most hyped up or hype beast FUT item we've seen in some time. There was the leak, but I prefer Vidal. I think the skill moves give him a little bit of a competitive advantage. It's not as easy to link up, doesn't have the same type of quality of partners. If we're looking at teammates from Renato Sanchez with the likes of Atal, or players in the same league with Neymar or Mbappe, we can keep naming, folks. Just so much meta. I get it, but let's dive a little bit deeper. Submariner. I like to compare and contrast. Here we go. More total stats for Vidal, higher rating, kind of makes sense. I'll tell you what separates the two of these players, at least currently in my mind, is the 5-star skills, which is massive. You're not going to be scoop turning all over the virtual pitch and doing McGeady spins. And then the offensive confidence that Vidal has, especially when it comes down to finishing, it pays dividends. You can't go wrong. You should definitely complete both of these guys. But many of you asked, which one am I choosing? If I only had to grab one, I'm leaning on Vidal. I like it. I love it. I put him into motion. I noticed everything that he's about. I scored with him. I provided with him. You have less pace, but you do have those skills. The shooting is much better, and it's going to be noticeable. Not that Renato is lackluster or disappointing in that department. He's definitely qualified. Passing, slightly better if we're talking Vidal. Price tag's a little bit less as well. Agility and balance, no comparison. This is where Renato takes the cake or tosses the plates, breaks a window. Very mechanical. And defensively, you're not turning Renato. So it might come down to what you're looking for in your midfield experience as well. If you need someone to be more box to box, you want an offensive player that also can chase back, you're looking for a classic holding mid. Defensive numbers, they go to Vidal. Then on the physical end, it's pretty similar. Pick and choose your poison. You can't go wrong here. This is not really a critique of, oh, this guy is such a letdown. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Both of these guys are 100%. You should complete them. They will only improve your team. We're talking end game. Wrap it up. Give me a Chipotle burrito. And on that note, we're not talking about putting together something special on the piano, but it seems like the right place to end off this beautiful recap of FUT Birthday, which in my opinion is one of the better promos that we've seen. So many usable FUT items, and 5-star weak foot, 5-star skill moves really changes the dynamic, the capability, the prolific, defensive, offensive, just the unpredictable with players. It gives you more creative measure. That's important. Plays a factor, especially in the later stages of a game cycle. But if you enjoyed everything, please drop a like. We can get into the skill move sessions. I'll be going back and forth with you in the comments. Let me know, how are you feeling? Give me your discussion, your logic, your practical reasoning as to why you have certain players in certain locations. And I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.